So here we are. A nice little Sunday bimble for those of you who are on our Suzuki Van Facebook group. That is a banned word. For fun, of course. Just a bit of light-hearted humour. But yes, it's a Sunday morning and I'm doing my first ever meet. There's a load of people with 125s and they all live in different parts of, I guess, London, the southeast, and they meet up as and when. Oh, I forgot, there's a wheelbarrow race today to do with St George's Day, which happened a few days ago. So my local town, they close off the high street and they have a wheelbarrow race. So I'm going to have to find a different way to get down. There you go, look, they've already started that. Look at that, setting up, brilliant. Little fun fair and all the local shops, aside, you know, not your kind of Starbucks and people like that, but your local family-owned businesses, they're all out. They have a little stall, you know, food, all that kind of stuff. So it's a really nice place and a really nice event. And this is basically a suburb of London, in the northwest of London. Well, I forgot where I lived there. But anyway, back to the 125 meetup. So I have been part of a group for some time since I passed my CBT, and it's basically a group for people who ride 125s or lower capacity bikes. And every now and again they meet up, different people, I guess wherever they live. And I've always not been able to go, mainly because I live quite far away from most people. The majority of people live the other side of London and all that, or really out in the sticks. Well, someone must be having a party because there's loads of cars parked there. So yeah, so today they're having a meet up at the Ace Cafe, which is my local haunt. I was born and raised in this side of London, northwest, so I remember the Ace Cafe from back in the I do remember it from back in the 70s, because I was a little child, and I remember when I was getting bigger, so almost starting secondary school, used to be able to see, I could tell when stuff was happening there, because on the Monday morning, we didn't have internet back then, on the Monday morning, the road would be covered in black lines. So clearly something had happened over the weekend, and they'd be doing burnouts and all sorts of stuff like that. Now it's become more of an industrial stuff. I think it was even back then, really. But there's a big Asian community around the back end of Alperton, which is kind of around there, which wasn't really as big in the 70s. I think over time different communities come and settle, and I guess as the Asian communities like myself, you know, our parents come, educate their kids. As they get older, obviously their job as well, the rest of the jobs they do, they go high up the food chain and they slowly move out of those areas into better neighbourhoods, educate the kids and all that kind of stuff. So you have a new set of families moving in, and so that's why in London you will see different communities in different parts of London. You go to the north of London, kind of Enfield ways, you'll get a lot of Jewish maybe not, that's not the right term, maybe like Israeli, but definitely like Turks and Greeks. That big Greek community kind of around that part. There it was when I was growing up anyway. I don't know if it's still the case now. And then more when you go kind of towards the east of northeast London, there's I know a big Somalian community around there. If you go kind of southwest, I think there's a Korean Chinese community. So basically you travel around London, you will see different communities, and they've all come and settled, and when their friends, relatives and all them lot come down, they all come and settle where, obviously you want to settle where your friends are. So so the Ace Cafe has been a stalwart in my life for some time, but I've never actually been there for like a meet up with people, and this is the first time I'm going to be meeting a lot of these people. Well, some of these people. But it should be fun. And from what I saw when I went onto the Ace Cafe website, there's an event there, so I know they regularly hold events, either car or bike events. This is the thing when you're on a Suzuki van 125. You really need to plan ahead if you want to overtake someone, because I mean I was going uphill as well, and I was going uphill, and so it did involve a lot of planning and holding back and really powering up, and you know it's stuff I haven't had to do since I first passed my test and got my first car, which was a Mark 1 Ford Fiesta. It was a 1 litre engine, but it had it had a 1 litre badge on the back, but it had a 1.1 litre engine, so you can imagine how happy I felt. Opening the road, ooh, I've got a bigger engine than I thought I had, you know, because as we all know, when you're first learning out, especially if you were born or you passed your test before the year 2000, and insurance was a big issue, as was car tax. Having an engine that was bigger than what it said was always a great thrill. But yeah, back to the Ace Cafe. So they've got something today on, I think, to do with Yamaha, and I know on the Facebook group I'm in, I know quite a few of them ride Yamahas, and from what I've seen on the Facebook group, a lot of them are riding more the sports style bikes. Hardly anyone's got like other types. I think I'm the only one from what I can see on that. Group that seems to have a 125 van. And for those of you that do know, you know how odd looking it is. For those of you who don't, let's just say it's built more for comfort than for speed. Rear fat chunky tyre. Gonna hold back, can't see what's coming ahead. Massive great bus in the way, obstructing my view. So yeah, so Suzuki van at the Ace Cafe. Might have a cuppa, have a chat, see what's going down. Here we go. Check my blind spot, make sure no one comes out from the side of the bus. Open all 4 taps, both hot and cold. Go easy because there are people crossing in front of the church, being a Sunday, and today's the London Marathon as well. So for those of you who are running the London Marathon, or know people who are, I doff my proverbial hat off to you lot, or to your friends and family. I do know of at least one person that's running it. It's one of my neighbours. She's only, I think, this is her first marathon as well, so I'm not going to tag her or do a shout out because she doesn't know I've got a YouTube channel. We're just a hi, good morning kind of relationship still. We're not kind of living in each other's pockets, which I know used to be the case here in Blighty. You know, I do remember when I was a kid growing up in the 70s in London, go over to my neighbour's house and play, neighbours wanting to come out and play with me and all sorts. And I don't know if it still happens or not. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. If for nothing, look at that. See, I'm a little person. I'm only 5'7", and what, I'm about 70 kg, 80 kg. So it's not like I've got it's not like I'm a big person. I could go up that way, but there were roadworks there last time, so this is an easier way for me to get down there. So yeah, I'm not a big person, so those kind of bikes scare me. Not for anything else. Part of the reason, as I've mentioned probably in my previous video, is I want to ride because I just hate getting stuck in traffic. Especially when nowadays people are just not paying attention, you know. Their lights are green and they're still there looking at their crotch. And that's a code word for looking at their mobile phones. And in a car I can't overtake them, whereas on a bike I can just filter past them, but no problem. So yeah, there you go, Wembley Stadium in the distance. That's, I guess, for a lot of you what we call Wembley Stadium, but for those of us born before 1990 or whenever they demolished it, that is the new Wembley Stadium. So for me, that is the new Wembley Stadium, because I remember the old one with the Twin Towers. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I suggest you use Google. Other search engines are available. It's unfortunate though that there are so many flats springing up, high-rise flats, and I do get there is a need, but it unfortunately means that signal. It spoils the view a bit, and we're not talking English countryside. I mean, when I was growing up, going to school, starting work, I could sit on the tube and because most of the tube is, about 95% is above ground. You see a lot of stuff, and you could see Wembley Stadium, but it is now getting shielded. So yeah, so this is Alperton. Wembley was back there. You saw Wembley Stadium, so that's Wembley. This is Alperton. So this is in the northwest borough, London borough of Brent. And as you can see, there's a big Asian community, big Indian community. And I remember back in the day, my parents used to come here at some point, mainly to buy onions, mangoes, rice, that kind of stuff. They don't really come anymore now, but I do remember back in the day they did. Because you know, you're new to a country, you're trying to get food from your home, and you can't. And the thing is, they're not even Indian. I'm not even Indian. I'm actually Sri Lankan, which is a tiny little teardrop shaped island just at the bottom of India. So our food and our ingredients are very different to what you get in India. There we go. But we eat rice, we eat mangoes, we use onions. So it's only since 1990 onwards that you've seen a big influx of really big influx of Sri Lankans coming into the country and settling and stuff. So, and not just in London, around the country, you know, they go and settle where work takes them and where their friends are and things like that. So food is the one thing that brings a lot of communities together, and I'd like to think we share more together, we share more in common than we realise. Because I was at university, yes, I'm not trying to show off, that's just how typical Asian families are where I come from, you know, must educate, must do well, must send to this school, must do that, which is great. But it also meant that when I was at uni, I got to meet a lot of people that I wouldn't usually meet and mix with and learn about. So I graduated just around the turn of the millennium, 2003. But when I was at uni, let's this guy go. Come on, come on. When I was at uni, I mixed with everyone, not just Asian kids, so Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, but also Greeks, Turks, Israelis, Arabs, Egyptians, you name it, English, obviously. So we had a huge mix of backgrounds, although the majority of us are all born here. Some of us weren't even Londoners. You know, a couple of guys who came from up north, Leeds, Birmingham, you know, that kind of stuff, or even further away. But we all got on. And we all, you know, messed about, had good times, had fun. It's brilliant, and I'm glad. For me, my main takeaway from going to university was that I got to mix with, and just have friends that I'm still in contact with, to be fair, from across the world, like me, all born in the UK, and all having similar experiences, different experiences. And like, you know, when it's festive time, they'd invite us back to their place and we'd eat, and like at Christmas time and stuff like that, we'll go around to each other's places, and You know, especially if you're a girl or an only child, you know, their parents will cook loads of stuff for them and things. So I ate loads of great food, home cooked, proper home cooked food, and I loved it. Anyway, I'm going to stop gassing for now because we are near the Ace Cafe. Holy moly, look at this. That's a lot of bikes. And they've got an old school, holy moly.
Are you part of the ride out?
No.
No.
Anyway.
Follow my colleague. Not on the right.
Oh yeah?
See the ramp? You see the ramp in front of the building? Go and park on the gaps on the ramp.
Okay,
Okay, so
cool.
you're going to get lost.
Cheers.
No worries.